7:30 at this hour. Okay, in the rush to stay young, a lot of people are looking for deals for cosmetic surgery. And joining us now to discuss that and more is dermatologist Dr. Mary Lupo at Tulane's Medical School. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, so I was surprised to hear this. People go online and they're looking for deals?
Well, I'm always a little surprised at that too. I think that if you're going to go online to get information, I think it's important to check out the physician before you make your choice as to who's going to be doing your cosmetic procedure.
Right.
As you know, that we're just inundated with new providers, and I think it's incumbent upon the patient to inquire what are the physician's qualifications. Ideally, I think you want to look for a physician who's been trained in their residency in a core practice that emphasizes aesthetic procedure and understands facial anatomy. I certainly wouldn't consider myself an expert in injecting an elbow for tendinitis. So at Tulane, for example, part of the core curriculum is learning how to do injectables when you're a dermatology resident. Then beyond that, you want a physician who is board certified. A board certified physician means that they've finished an accredited program and then taken and passed the certifying test. I think there's other resources that you can go to online. BotoxCosmetic.com actually has physician finder sites where you can type in the zip code of the doctor and see if this is a physician who's actually purchasing materials from the FDA-approved source, which is Allergan. We have a problem with illegally imported materials in this country. And often when one sees a great deal, Botox is a very expensive product.
So like what price would you see that you know this is a real deal, and what price would be considered
when you see someone charging and they're advertising, $150 for an area, or they're charging, $8 a unit or something like that, I think one needs to be skeptical, because the FDA is cracking down and has published a list of 350 practices around the country that they have found already illegally importing materials. And I don't think that your face is something that you want to take the chance that you're using something that's not FDA approved. And you can ask your physician. Allergan puts a special hologram on their vials that you can know that this is a legitimate vial. So I think that unfortunately, buyer beware does now extend to medical procedures. And I think it behooves the consumer, which is the patient, to look for a location that has a good reputation, that is a physician, preferably one who's board certified in a core practice.
Okay, so if you're online, the key thing to look for when you click on that and that doctor's name come up is
check out the doctor.
Okay.
Check out the doctor. And then I think if you go in for a consultation, I call it the gut check. If you have that little voice inside of you telling you something doesn't seem right, reschedule and do your homework if you haven't already done your homework. I think it's very important for people to be a little bit more careful, unfortunately, in these days and times.
Right, and obviously if you're going behind 16 alleys and you're asking the guy, Joe to the left and Jim to the right, how to get, it's some obvious things. What are some of the popular procedures that people are looking for online?
Well, unfortunately, the things that pops up the most are the Botox parties and the injectable parties that are at salons, etc., after hours. I think one needs to be very, very careful. And never, ever, ever have a nurse do your procedure in their home. Number one, they've either obtained that material illegally or they've stolen it from a physician, because nurses are not permitted to buy legal FDA-approved Botox.
Wow, you've got a lot of good information. Hopefully you can come back, because this obviously,
I'd love to.
We live in a culture where everyone's trying to maintain that youthful look. So I welcome you back so we can talk a bit more about that. But some great tips this morning, especially for those going online to try to find a doctor.
Well, you're very welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lupo.